You did a fantastic job. Appreciate the service and the dedication that you have to that. We do have some flowers for you, if that's okay. So we do appreciate your time and effort. So thank you so much. In conjunction with that, we do also have a replacement. Not that you're irreplaceable, because you are. And if you would, Mr. Devoe, if you could just tell us a little bit about the replacement and the process. And it was in your Friday letter, if you recall. But I wanted him to just speak about it just briefly and then tell you what will be happening, obviously, when the students come back in the fall.
Good evening. Okay, I remember being in an August board meeting with you last year, and we hadn't had a student rep yet, and there was a comment made that, boy, it'd really be nice to have a student rep now, just before school starts. So I heard you, and as I got into the turn of the year, I started the process around March, and I went to senior classes, and I spoke about the position, the importance of the position, what it means to represent all the students at the district level, how much it helps the college applications and those kind of pieces too. So what were the perks, what was the commitment, and what the responsibility was. I also did a GPA analysis of current juniors and took the top 10 and pulled them into my office privately and gave them applications and also gave them that speech on a more intimate level and encouraged them to apply. This went throughout April. I hadn't gotten any yet. It got in May, and I finally got 2. I kept promoting it. The senior, Ms. Watson, the senior teacher, promoted it. I ended up getting 2. It turned out they were both top 10. It's 2 of the top 10 students. One is our top junior class boy, Neil Ganlath. Brilliant, fantastic minds. Very political, very active, and intelligent discussions. He participated in WASC as well. And the other is Nikki Lundy, who's also pretty outspoken in her class. She's top 10 as well. So we didn't want it to be a default. We wanted to make sure they were qualified because we were ready to open it again if it wasn't. So I put a panel together, a big panel. It was myself and Ms. Barnes. I had a classified representative, Yolanda McCauley. I had 3 students on the panel and a parent. The students were ASB students, different levels, and Kim Clements as well, the parent. So we had a large panel, and we had a series of questions talking about what they believed was most important. For the application process, just to give you a background, it was the same one we used last year. They had to write a 500-word essay on what their goals were, what they thought the position meant, what they hoped to accomplish, the importance of representing students. They had to have 2 teacher recommendations and a GPA minimum, 3.0 GPA minimum. So we went through all that transcript analysis. We asked the questions, spent about a half an hour with each candidate, and really vetted both candidates. They're both highly qualified. We had initial conversations with them. We explained to them it required board approval. I know this was done in mid-May. We've just been waiting for the right time to present it to you, so they've been waiting for about a month.
Are you thinking about splitting it between the 2 of them?
They would like that because they're athletes. Right? So one would like, it's similar to what we did last year.
Like we did last year.
One fall, one spring, so that when they're in high season with their sports, they're not.
And I commend you for taking this out of the board's hands because it used to be excruciatingly painful for us to do this.
Well, we talked about that.
Yeah.
We heard you, but we just wanted to again reiterate why we're doing
Great
what we're doing
process.
and go from there. So thank you, Mr. Devoe. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you.
If you'd like, if you'd like to meet them, I could try to arrange something before the end
Well,
of
we
the
can
year.
do in the fall when they
Do we have a
come back.
26th meeting also?
We do, if you would like.
No,
They
I
may
mean-
be on vacation. by
Yeah,
then.
they might be on vacation.
Yeah.
So I was thinking in the fall, we can just have
Yeah.
them come
All right,
back.
so you don't want a student rep here for the August meeting?
No.
Well, no.
That was the
There's
theme
nothing
last
going on.
year, was why.
Yeah, there's nothing going on.
Okay.
We'll talk about that later.
All right, not a problem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Excellent.
Not the answer is exactly.
All right. So, 8.3, thank you very much, Alex. And wish you the very best in the future. I know the best is yet to come through. 8.4, site handbooks.
We wanted to just, again, you saw the site handbooks. You have those in the Dropbox. You've had opportunity to kind of take a look at those. There's no major revisions or changes. More or less, if we talked about the formatting, we We had talked about the process that we wanted a kind of uniform approach in the formatting. There isn't a substantial set of changes, so we did want to then just bring them up to you. If you had anything you wanted us to revise, obviously we talked about it now, or you can email me later, but if not, then obviously we want to start putting those in play for next year.
Well, you did so much work on them already, so they're not going to have much revisions at this point. So.
I actually do, but it happens to be under the gas line extension, if you will. And if you don't mind, I'll speak to that right now and then hold my comments on 12.1. The gas line extension, again, remember this project as we developed the plans for this, was to go from propane or LP gas to natural gas. Significantly cheaper, much better product, a lot safer, et cetera, as we went through that project. Originally, it was our first bids that we talked about was $450,000. It was really cost prohibitive. We didn't have the money anyway, and anyway, we kept twisting on their arm, different things, and there was going to have to be some high pressure relief valves installed and significant value to that project. We got them to commit to installing the high pressure relief valves. We took a look at some of the project value, and they reduced it to approximately $250,000. We took that to the board back, I can't remember when, been so many times, and you guys basically approved the budget with a $250,000 value to that. This project, or this contract here, and again, I can't remember, I think it was what, 118,000, 108,000, somewhere in there. Mike, we had talked about it earlier, now it escapes me. But
I think it's 118.
Is it 118? Okay. It's one of those two. Anyway, so that $118,000 contract you see is the total cost to do what we originally thought was going to be $450,000, or now, which was budgeted $250,000. So my point is I greatly appreciate the efforts of my construction team, and to be honest with you, I appreciate the local Southern California gas representatives and their efforts to, again, absorb some of those costs, reduce it as much as possible. You can see we're significantly under budget now, to the tune of $120,000, $130,000. There is a small dollar value that's going to be associated with safety items like bollards and certain things that are going to have to be around certain areas where the gas comes out, and the meter, and et cetera, et cetera. There's a list of things we have to comply with. But we're still way under budget, so I did want to appreciate the team, appreciate Southern California Gas. And again, that leaves us in a great position. We're about, let's see, even if it's $100,000, we're still $100,000.
I remember when it came in at $500,000, that was a shock.
It was like brutal. So,
thank you very much.
Mike, did you have a question?
That's great. I am curious, in the process of getting the price down, was line making smaller?
No, sorry, allergies. The line is actually still going to be exactly the same. Nothing has changed. We are going to be able to, it's an as-built as a full project. So meaning it's enough capacity to also add the gymnasium, the MPR, all of the equipment in the kitchen, et cetera, et cetera.
So it's sized for 100% of the...
Yes.
Of the
Entire.
phase 1 plus phase 2?
Yes, it is.
I'm just curious, is it sized for some nominal percent beyond that?
Yes, it is. And
Wherever
I
lucky
honestly
enough to add
don't have that percentage, but yes, it is.
Okay, all right, thank you. Very good.
Thank you, Dr. Woodard.
You bet.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Moving on to 8.6, Superintendent Report. Anything tonight, Dr. Woodard?
Yeah, just a second.
Want we skip it for a little bit?
Yeah, why don't you, if you
Okay, well, we're going to move on to 8.7, board member comments. Mr. Fox?
Just that it's the end of the school year, and I've been participating as a parent and a board member in many of the celebrations that happen this time of year. And particularly as it relates to some of the high school celebrations, I am amazed at the class that we're sending out there. I don't know what to say. I mean, my kid's not in it yet, but Alex is one of many. And we all see Alex, but she's one of many that are like this. It's amazing. So it really is true. It gives me energy to come here, but also makes me feel better about the nation in general and our future. So it's really refreshing to see so many kids with their their heads screwed on straight. So I commend all of you. The other quick question I had was, how's our survey doing? When can we expect results?
How's our
Calendar survey.
Oh, well, remember, we're gonna run it all the way through the end of June.
End of June, I thought end of school year. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Thank you.
So that's basically what I was gonna say is basically, I thought I might have the results and I didn't pick them up, so I apologize. I was gonna actually report the results. But I wanted to reiterate to folks that it is open till June. We still want folks to take the survey. We do have quite a bit of respondents, but again, we're gonna keep it open all the way through June. I know Lillian is still running that article, is that correct or no? I thought there was a blurb in there at your last editorial about that the survey was still open and it was through June.
Oh, that's what I wrote.
Okay.
I just really asked.
No, but I meant it was part of your article, right?
It was part of the article.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's probably appropriate to wait till the survey is over to make any.
Yeah, and I really
Or
did,
get
otherwise I didn't.
close
want
to the
wait.
end of it, like the 26th, you know.
I was just gonna report how many is actually responding. So it's not.
Are we getting it?
Yeah, we're getting a good number of folks, but, yeah, so we have about approximately 298 that have responded so far.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
Now remember, that's one per household, so.
Yeah. So if you have 3 kids.
Yeah, you only get one vote.
Excellent. Mr. Ridenour? And Mr. Layton?
No.
I just personally want to reiterate what Mr. Fox was saying. It's been, I've been attending the promotion, 8th grade promotion, also the award ceremonies the day before that, and heard about the metalwork events in regard to the ceremony, the award ceremony. I think we're doing a great job with that. One thing I would recommend is that we have a very high percentage of our students, when you count the honor roll, high honor roll, ASB, and also citizenship. We have, I would say a good 80% of the kids getting some kind of award. I think it would be important to keep in mind those kids that don't get anything, because that's just such a high percentage. So if you had, let's say 10% of the kids getting awards, you could say, well, I'm not one of those. But I think you kind of feel excluded and left out. I'm not speaking for my own child or anything like that. He was one of the last ones to be able to get a lot of them. But I was just looking back and I saw some faces that were just really kind of disappointed and didn't get anything. So when we almost give every single ASB student an award, like I said, I would say probably 80-85% of kids are getting that. It's something we should be sensitive about. It's part of the educational experience that they're going through. I think you can lead them to feel kind of left out. So maybe make mention to those kids, or maybe reduce the criteria. So that's just something that came to my mind. We are giving awards to about 85% of the kids. Probably more. I'm just going to be, I just feel like real, down. So apart from that, the ceremonies were just second to none, and the preparation compared to years past, especially at high desert, it's just night and day difference. So I really commend Ms. Kermrick on that, and really looking forward to the graduation next week. Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on to 8.6, Superintendent Report.
Did you ask Larry?
I think.
Yes, I did. Nothing tonight?
Under 10.1 and 10.2, as with the previous agenda items, that they have, he has issued a letter to, in this case, to Mark DeStasso, and basically requesting, if not requesting, basically saying that the county intends to put a stay on 10.1 and 10.2, just as they did previously. Although, again, it is your prerogative as a board to move forward and approve those as per the ed code, as we said, so basically the same situation. These are the final 2 charters, and we are still obviously working with legal counsel to move forward with those. So there is a letter to put a stay on 10.1 and 10.2.
I understand last time we had some issue with the communication time. Did we have any advance notice on this? Or did Mark have advance notice on it?
I haven't gotten a copy of that.
No, I just received the letter tonight. There's a
May I
letter.
glance at it?
You can, that's the only copy I have.
Are you
I'll be
aware
happy
of
to
when
give you
Mr.
a copy.
Costanzo received the letter?
I just received a copy of the letter tonight.
But are you aware when Mr. Costanzo
He
received it?
has not received it yet.
He hasn't received it. The letter is to Mr. Costanzo, you just received it. Can I solicit your recommendation on whether we should move ahead?
I think, as with the others, I think we should move ahead, and I think it's important that we follow Ed Code as well. And they've recognized our requirement to follow Ed Code and be within the statutory timelines. And then we can discuss it later, at a later date. They're not saying rescind it or approve it. They're saying they're going to put it on hold, if you will.
So, as such, and as we did on the May 22nd meeting for 10.0, 10.5,
This would only be effective to 10.1 and 10.2.
I understand. I'm referring to 10.4, 10.5, 10.6, 10.7, and 10.8 that during through the same thing that happened at the last.
Oh,
meeting.
the last, yeah.
So-
yeah, you lost me for a second.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and open 10.1. Do I have a move? Thank you. All in favor of 10.0?
Before we vote, for discussion, do we have an opportunity to ask Mr. Douglas some questions?
You can if you like.
I'm okay with that, yeah.
I'd like to.
Okay, so 10.1 is open for discussion. Good evening.
Good evening. So I understand what you're requesting is similar to the letter we got served on May 22nd. You want us to stay the approval on these other two charter schools, correct?
The county is asking that you hold off on taking action until the, as we did the last time, until the thicknet study has been completed.
And that's because, as the last letter, I don't have the one for tonight in front of me, that's because TechNet needs to review our cash flow and the ability to oversee the charter schools. Is that basically the reasoning?
That is the reason.
And you feel that if we approve this anyway, our action is null and void? I believe that's what you had said at the last board meeting.
If the county takes an action of staying your action, it is on hold until they lift that or rescind.
So your interpretation is the Ed Code 42127.6 E2 is a valid binding statute, binding our ability to act in this meeting. Is that the county and the
It doesn't
fiscal crisis and management team's interpretation?
doesn't bind you from taking action. What it says is that if you take that action, then the county will stay your action.
Now, what effect, if any, do you feel that has on 10.34 and 10.5? The Albert
Those are
Einstein,
not part of the letter tonight.
they're not part of the letter.
No.
So,
Just
Just
the
the two.
previously approved charter petitions, he's not requesting those as a stay or in part of the letter.
We're not
Those are not associated.
not asking to touch them.
No. Only 10.1 and 10.2.
I don't have anything else to ask you.
Mr. Ridenour?
Thanks for going on the record in those areas. It's my understanding after discussion with legal counsel that we could actually have some exposure to legal action if we don't follow Ed Code with respect to the timing on approving. Is it my understanding that the County of LA will be providing us with indemnification for this legal action these charters may take, given the stay order?
I'm not prepared to answer.
So just for the record, you're staying the action even without clarity on the economic issue, and I think as I've mentioned to you previously in the letter, that would turn out to be false premise. and we may be exposed to legal action, and the county's not prepared to indemnify us. Is that your position?
My position was, I don't know.
It seems like you want to get clarity before having someone write such a letter if you are going to further exacerbate our legal problem, given your charter, I think, sets out that you're supposed to be helping us.
I understand your concern.
Can you commit with all expediency, as in maybe tomorrow morning by 9, to get back us on whether the county's going to indemnify us for our legal exposure?
It's certainly involved.
Thank you.
I do have one question. Is there the report? Have we got any kind of timeline for it? We didn't last week, but a whole week's elapsed, so maybe.
I've asked that same question several times. I'm just as concerned as you are. I'd like to have a resolution to that.
Well, it's not just the resolution.
And I know that-
appreciate the outside set of eyes. I'd love to see what it says. Somebody's spending time and money on it. Let's get hold of it. But we don't know yet.
We don't have it yet? No.
Okay. Nice.
Do you have any ETA, any estimated time? Any, I mean, I've talked, I can't, okay.
I wish I knew the answer.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ten point one, all in favor of resolution 13-14-60 SIA Tech charter petition? All in favor? Aye.
Nay?
That's fine.
10.2, resolution 13-14.61 Oxford Prep charter petition. It's recommended that the board approve resolution Oxford Prep charter petition. Do I have a move?
Move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Nay?
10.3, Albert Einstein Academy Elementary School, SCD, charter petition revisions. It's recommended that the board approve the revisions to the Albert Einstein Academy Elementary School, SCD, charter petition approved on May 16, 2013. Do I have a move? I'll move that in. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Any discussion regarding 10.3? All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Nay?
Mr. Layton, you're clear that this is not as a part of the letter.
It's just the revisions that we're discussing.
Just revisions that we
I understand.
Thank you. 10.4, Albert Einstein Dulce secondary charter petition revisions. It's recommended that the board approve the revisions to the Albert Einstein Academy Dulce secondary charter petition approved on 5/16/13.
No. This I do have a question on discussion.
Okay, let's open it first. I will open it. Do I have a
Second.
Second. Thank you, Mr. Ridenour. Discussion on 10.4.
What is the basic revision that we're doing here?
Well, it's in the executive summary. Did you have a chance to?
Yes, I did. But,
You want to stay for the record?
well, I'd like to have it maybe, shall I say, reinforced a little bit. Find my executive summary on it. Is it so long you can't just
Well, there's,
tell us some of the rationale or reasoning?
well, I mean, there's 11 different reasons, 11 different ideas. I'm not sure. It's basically taking a look at that particular document and cleaning up a lot of the language and taking a look at the material revisions in the actual petition to include educational programming, the student population and demographics, school calendar, annual goals and action, and the state priorities, standardized testing, student outcomes and methods of measurement, measurable student outcomes and assessment tools, admission requirements, financial reporting, and assurances.
Okay.
If I read.
I couldn't find it at the beginning, and I found it as we were talking, so.
Okay.
And I have had, yes, to answer your question, is yes, I did review it
Okay.
earlier.
It's a lot of stuff. I didn't know how much you wanted to get into. But, I mean, those are basically elements that will be revised in that petition. Mr. Fox?
And if I recall correctly, much of that was due to incorporation of LCFF type of.
There was a lot of that, yes.
A lot of that.
Absolutely, yes.
Mr. Layton, are you satisfied with
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, ready to vote on 10.4, all in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you. That's a 401 for the director. AADUSD Elementary Partnership Academy Charter Petition revisions. It's recommended that the board approve the revisions to AADUSD Elementary Partnership Charter Petition approved on February 13th, 2014. I will move that in. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Any discussion on that?
I've got something. So, as I was reading through it, the only thing I found is that, and it's a nit, but I think we probably can fit. I'm fine if we make a motion to amend the particular address. It just says the Unsigned Academy plan is located at 11311 Franschetti Street in Agua Dulce. And I believe that, and it talks about the facilities that are there to accommodate them. I think that it should probably read that address as well as the Acton School, since we're using both facilities. And between them, they provide the facilities that are described in the rest of the paragraph, the 40 classrooms. There's not 40 at the one school.
Mr. Fox is making a motion that we pass 10.5 with an amendment to the Partnership Academy petition change to specify both Acton School and Agua Dulce Elementary campuses. Correct?
Thank you.
You can insert the address as per the motion if it passes.
I had a question here. The other documents had table of contents, and it was easy for me to find the different materials. And I'm looking at the one for this, and it doesn't seem to make sense to me. It has everything on pages 2 and 3, which I think has to be wrong because it's a lot of pages. In looking at the executive summary, under number 10, facilities, and then it's listed into 3 parts, the existing language changed and reason for the change. And it was, charter has secured a lease for a facility in the Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District. I can't find that in here, and I'm telling you the truth, I'm lost in this document.
Well, I don't know, Mr. Shapiro or Dr. Shapiro, would you be able to answer that? Is that in the petition, the actual address, or I wouldn't know what page it was on either?
Yeah, I don't know what page it's on, but Mr. Fox was able to read it.
Yeah, that was on that, yes.
I have no problem reading it, and I like the change part.
Yeah, I operate off of hard copy, and,
Right.
and but maybe you just know, or somebody could tell it, that the lease that it's referred to in the executive
Yeah, I wouldn't know what page it is.
summary is for which, the campus then here.
Yes, it would be referring to the Agua Dulce Elementary, the former Agua Dulce Elementary School.
That's why it's the Agua Dulce Elementary Partnership Academy. And with the revision that was suggested that's on the table now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, maybe my hard copy just didn't come out with all the pages added, or whether it was.
Sometimes I have trouble printing on my computer. The PDF files.
Okay.
Pagination.
Well, I don't have any other questions on this or comments.
Is there a difference between the hard copies that Mr. Layton has provided and what we get on the Dropbox? Or is that simply a printed version of what we done?
It's simply a printed version of what you have on there. And I mean, I don't know what he's printing or how he's printing it. I mean,
Oh, I don't print it, I pick it up in the district office.
Okay. Yeah, so we're getting a copy off of that.
But it's clear enough, I understand everything, that I don't have any questions and I'm prepared to vote on.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Okay, so we're voting on 10.5 for the 213-14 petition changes to include amending the Partnership Academy petition change to specify both Acton School and Agua Dulce Elementary campuses. With that amendment, can we have a vote on this? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
10.4 and 10.5 were unanimously approved, and 10.1, 2, and 3, we had Mr. Layton that voted against those. 11.0 personnel services. 11.1 approval of employment. Employee number 131415. Do I have a move to open this? I will second that. Any discussion on 11.1? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
11.2, resignation, release of certified employees, employee number 131416. I will move this in. Do I have a second on 11.2?
I'll second.
Mr. Fox, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. 11.3, resignation, release of classified employee, employee number 13417. I think there is an error on the employee number here. It's a 5-digit number. Should be a 6-digit.
I will double check that for the record.
So, okay, we'll double check 11.3, but it's for instructional aid for High Desert School, and effective date is 5/31/14. If we could, I will move this in. Do I have a second for 11.3?
I'll
Right now,
second. I'll second.
Mr. Fox, thank you. And when I vote on this, contingent on clarification of the employee number. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. 11.4, leave of absence. It's recommended that the board approve the leave of absence for the following employee from May 15th through June 30th. Employee number 131418. I will move this in. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank
I
you,
got a
Mr. Fox.
question.
Discussion?
Yeah. Well, besides the fact that you gotta check the one where it's 5 digits rather than 6, does it make sense that they're in sequential order? They're all
Yes and
in
no.
exactly one
Depends on their
higher.
hire date.
Does it make sense? I mean, it's just chance. So maybe you should just double check the employee.
We'll double check.
Okay.
I don't think anything to chance. It's suspicious.
We'll double check all.
Any further discussion on 11.4? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. 12.0, 12.0 business and financial. 12.1 gas company project. At 8.5, Dr. Woodard had some comments on this. And so I assume you have no further comments on this one. Do I have a move to open this?
I will.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Mr. Layton?
Yes.
Thank you.
Second.
And it's recommended that the board approve the gas company project 0000163986, provide natural gas utility services to VHS construction project. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. 12.2,
Mr. Porter?
yes.
I've received some new information that I'd like to pull 12.2 and reevaluate this particular contract. I think we might be able to do it cheaper.
Okay, 12.2 is pulled for reevaluation, as is 12.3 pulled because CSEA did not have a chance to vote yet on this. And we're moving on to 12.4.
And if you could amend 12.4 to read 1214, 2014 and 2015.
Okay, public hearing for 2014-2015 adopted budget. Of course. Only if we could go back in time, I would have let you.
Would that be
Yeah,
nice?
it would happen, yes. But I'm going to open the hearing at 8:18. Any comments? Okay, we're going to close the hearing at 8:18. Moving on to 13.0, future agenda items. Any requests for addition of any items to this 13.0? Okay, hearing none, moving on to 4.0 calendar, June 26, 2014 is our next meeting. And 15.0 closed session.
Before we move on, I hear somebody saying something about August.
That's the very end of August when we have a meeting right before
There's
the
one meeting
meeting.
in August.
That's what he's talking about, the very end of August where Ty was saying, hey, should he have the student rep or not? That's the one we have right before school starts.
So tentatively, it should be the 28th,
Well,
probably.
what we'll do is we bring a revised calendar for you next month, or sorry, next board meeting, and then you'll approve that calendar. And then we'll do the board
But
meeting.
just usually, it'd be the fourth Thursday, which
Yes,
is
That's
the
correct, the
28th.
final Thursday in August. And as always.
I just want to mark it on my modern calendar.
But as always, if I need, I may call a special meeting if you guys, I may have a construction issue I may need to move them on.
Okay, so we have tentatively on Thursday the 28th as the meeting after the June 26th meeting. And you will fill us in on,
Well, the next board meeting, you'll have an opportunity to vote.
which is June 26th, 2014. Closed session, and we had closed session today. And 15.1, do I have a move so I can report what we talked about? Mr. Fox, thank you, I will second that. And we took action in closed session today regarding a motion to approve the final settlement agreement and release. Also, board had discussion regarding a possible pending legal action, and no action was taken. Are we good with that? All in favor of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Close it.
Okay, 16.0 adjournment.
So moved.
So moved, thank you. I will second that. All in favor of adjournment at 8:21?
Aye.
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 Is that meeting minutes, right?
That was very, very good. No, 19 minutes.